What if Red Bull's biggest problem right now is not the car? According to reports from Dutch journalist Eric van Haren, the closest media figure to the Verstappen camp in the paddock, the Milton Keynes garage, is currently being consumed by contractual standoffs, ignored feedback, and a level of internal paranoia that sources close to the team describe as staggering. Red Bull is so afraid of losing Max to McLaren that they are turning the dysfunction inward, blocking their own communications, ignoring their own driver, and fighting themselves in the garage at the exact moment they need to be unified to fix the car. This video is about what is reportedly happening inside Red Bull right now, why it started, who it is hurting most, and why the very behavior designed to keep Max at Red Bull may be the thing that finally pushes him out. Van Haren has reported a simmering friction between the Verstappen camp and Red Bull's top management that has been building for weeks, driven by Max's refusal to publicly commit his future to the team beyond 2026. Red Bull's management reportedly wants one thing above everything else right now, a statement from Max saying he is staying for 2027. Not 2028, just 2027, because without it, they cannot recruit engineers, cannot attract sponsors, and cannot project stability to a team that has already lost Horner, Newey, Wheatley, Marco, and is about to lose GP Lambiase. Max has refused to give them that statement every single time they have asked. According to De Limburger, Red Bull's shareholders, including Mark Mateschitz, are becoming increasingly unhappy with Verstappen's refusal to commit, viewing the situation as a lack of loyalty. But here is what that framing misses entirely. From Max's side, sources reportedly say he does not feel the loyalty is flowing in the other direction either, and the evidence they point to is not a contract clause. It is what happened in Canada and at Silverstone. Van Haren reported that Verstappen feels unheard at Red Bull, especially by his own engineers, and that what happened at Silverstone was only the latest example of the team not listening to its star driver, with something similar having transpired at the Canadian Grand Prix in May, when Red Bull did not follow Verstappen's preferred setup choice. In Canada, Max told them the setup was wrong. They did not change it. He finished fourth. At Silverstone, Max told them after qualifying that the car needed to be fundamentally changed and that he wanted to start from the pit lane. They sent him out from P7 unchanged. He crashed from third place with 5 laps remaining. Both times, Max identified the problem. Both times, the team overruled him. Both times, he was right. A driver who has won 71 Formula One races, who has been the most precise technical feedback tool in the paddock for a decade, is being overruled by an engineering structure that is simultaneously, according to reports, withholding information from within its own garage out of fear about where that information might end up. This is where the story moves from contractual tension into something that affects the car on Sunday. According to reports from Van Haren and confirmed by multiple outlets, there is a level of internal distrust at Red Bull that sources describe as unhealthy. The concern, per reporting, centers on what information might eventually reach McLaren, given that key personnel with deep knowledge of the RB22 are either already gone or confirmed to be leaving. David Coulthard addressed this dynamic back in April, saying, "Of course, one of the tricky moments for Red Bull is he can't walk out of the factory with a laptop with all the data at the end of the year. But what's in your mind, you're allowed to take with you." Red Bull's reported response to that reality, according to sources, has been to restrict the flow of certain information inside the garage itself. The logic is understandable. The consequence is not. A team that cannot share information freely between its own technical staff is a team that cannot optimize its car efficiently on a race weekend. They are reportedly sacrificing Sunday performance to protect against a future leak that has not yet happened. At the center of all of this is a single contractual mechanism that both sides are now treating as the most important object in the negotiation. Red Bull management has reportedly been trying to strip Verstappen's exit option to secure their future, but the Dutchman is completely stonewalling the attempt. By holding onto that clause with an iron grip, Verstappen is effectively keeping a loaded gun on the negotiating table. He knows the car is uncompetitive. He knows the budget is being redirected to 2027. He knows his feedback is being ignored, and he is legally protecting his right to leave if the situation does not change. Red Bull's response, attempting to remove the clause rather than address the conditions that make it relevant, tells you exactly where the team's priorities sit. They are not trying to fix the reasons Max might want to leave. They are trying to remove his ability to act on those reasons. De Limburger reports Max may delay his final decision until as late as October, which means this standoff does not resolve at Zandvoort. It resolves at the end of summer, quietly, when both sides decide whether the relationship is worth saving. Here is the broader picture this internal story sits inside, because understanding the context makes the paranoia make sense even if it does not make it reasonable. Red Bull have lost more senior personnel in 18 months than any team in modern F1 history. Horner, Newey, Wheatley, Marco, and Lambiase confirmed for McLaren in 2028. Each departure carried institutional knowledge. Each departure increased the fear about what the next one takes with it. The team that dominated 2023 by winning 21 of 22 races is now fourth in the Constructors' Championship. The only top four team without a race win in 2026, and about to enter Zandvoort Max's home race with a reduced upgrade program and a budget already pointed at next year. The crisis has officially evolved from a performance deficit into a full-blown institutional meltdown. It is one thing to build a slow car and another entirely for management to go to war with its own star driver. Zandvoort on August 23rd is the first race of the second half. It is the first public test of whether this internal fracture shows itself on the timing screens or gets papered over by a circuit that historically suits Max. So here is the complete picture of what is reportedly happening inside the Red Bull garage right now. A team so afraid of losing their driver to McLaren that they are restricting their own internal communications. A driver so frustrated at being ignored that he is refusing to give the team the one thing they need most, a public commitment. Shareholders losing patience with a man they are simultaneously overruling on safety decisions. And at the center of it all, a contract clause that Red Bull wants to remove and Max will not release, sitting on the table between two sides that both believe the other moved first. Zandvoort is on August 23rd. If the internal paranoia is as deep as reports suggest, it will not stay hidden at Max's home race in front of the Orange Army. Subscribe because the next video breaks down exactly what Max's exit clause lets him do now that the summer break has passed, and that decision is coming before the year ends. The open question that only the second half of this season can answer: is Red Bull protecting Max from McLaren or protecting itself from Max?